And we're back. Thursday, March 13th.
Yes, sir. Correct on all accounts.
Holy smokes. What a week, Glenn.
What a week. We've got basketball, full swing.
Don't care.
It's even more annoying that your boys, they're still on a bye. They don't play till tomorrow.
Michigan
basketball.
Even though they ate it the last couple weeks of the season.
Yeah. They still made it out all right.
I watched one game. They lost. I watched them lose to Michigan State. Or actually, that's not even true. I watched Michigan win the first half against Michigan State.
There we go.
And then I went to sleep, and I woke up, and they lost by what happened? Which mic? This mic? Move it closer? All right. Is that better? Check 1, 2. Good?
Nice.
All right, cool. And then woke up and they lost.
So that's a win.
So
yeah,
that's all the basketball that I've watched this season. Northwestern is probably awful.
One, that's rude. We've made it to the NCAA tournament twice in the past 2 years.
You take offense to that.
I do.
Okay.
Because
You're not on the team.
Correct.
I'm sorry, brother.
In my 4 years, they went from really awful to actually winning the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
So
you get a trophy for that?
You get more money for sure.
Okay.
So not me. I'm still paying them.
Yeah, you still.
God, you're right.
I don't know how you figure into the equation, but yeah.
But yeah, now they're back to being bad.
Okay.
They won yesterday. They're the 13th seed in the Big Ten.
And
do the math there.
Like Nebraska or something. Rutgers.
Rutgers actually lost. They beat Minnesota. Today,
okay.
Wisconsin ranked.
Northwestern's playing Wisconsin today in the Big Ten tournament.
Correct.
Okay.
Shouldn't go well, but should be fun.
Who's Michigan playing?
Michigan is playing the winner of Purdue and USC today, and our good friend Bill is at the game in Indianapolis.
Oh, so Michigan's still not even playing?
Right, because the Big Ten drama queens that they are play until Sunday. Like ACC wraps up.
Their tournament goes like the latest, right?
And there's no real reason
Big Ten tournament ends, and then the selection show happens immediately.
Yeah. And so ACC wraps up Saturday. Most do. Big Ten Sunday, so they're just pushed a day later.
Well, if any of my Wolverines are watching, good luck out there, boys.
Good luck tomorrow.
Or they're not even playing today.
Yeah.
Good luck tomorrow against probably Purdue. But if it's USC should probably be better at basketball.
It's a cool brand to root for.
Yeah, like USC and UCLA are
even
trash
when they had Bronny James, they weren't so hot.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. This is the last show of the week for us. We haven't told the team out there yet, but we're not doing the show tomorrow because waking up at this ungodly hour
every day
on Daylight Savings Week, which was a great practical joke by Pete.
He got us real good.
You wanna punk all your coworkers? Go on vacation on Daylight Savings Week when you have to be at the office at 6 a.m. every day.
Yeah, no, he got us so good. That was bad. But yeah, Friday, taking tomorrow off.
Tomorrow you're taking off.
Got the boys coming into town.
You have 13 dudes staying at your
who knows
weird
what the final
town home.
Who knows what the final number will end up being? But yeah, we have.
So you have a certain number of guests that are staying with you.
Correct.
But you're also open to an assortment of other people staying at your place.
Yeah, we're a welcoming household,
and
accepting refugees of St. Patty's Day.
Okay. So you have one friend, Kevin.
I do.
Who's coming into town.
He's landing tonight. He's dropping in.
And he's coming into town with his girlfriend.
Correct.
And they're both staying with you.
No. That was the big development. Kev usually stays with us, a college friend. But yes, girlfriend tagged along, so now he's a little bit upset that he had to shell out for hotel.
Because
they split
girlfriend pushed for it.
Yeah, well, that would have been...
His girlfriend is my age.
Correct.
And
the idea is my age.
At your dirty-ass town.
All right, let's not do that.
Probably
we actually
too much for her.
My roommate had a birthday last weekend, and his parents came over, and for his birthday got us a cleaning service to come in.
It was that bad?
No, but now it's that good. So our home is very clean.
That's great, dude. I'm happy for you.
Should be a ton of fun.
But no, so you already that's 2 of the people that aren't staying with you.
Right.
So you got a ton of room. You could have like 50 people in there.
We have 4 extras staying with us.
4 extras.
On top of the 5 that already live there.
5 dudes live there, 4 dudes coming.
Correct.
And then but then 9 dudes out on the town.
Seen that story.
All right, I'll leave that up to...
Do you have any plans? You're Irish.
What is that supposed to mean?
I don't know. Is this something you celebrate?
Do I celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
Yes.
Because I have red hair and I'm like 25% Irish?
Let's put it as I'm celebrating and I'm some percent. So
okay.
It's a welcoming holiday.
I forget that you are part Irish, so I can't really get mad at you.
Made it out of that one.
But yeah, I am not celebrating at all.
You don't even want to see Green River.
I don't know if I've ever seen it, actually.
Seriously.
Yeah. Not a big thing. I understand that that's a big thing for people.
It's wild.
The Green River.
Yeah. I know it's like pretty touristy, but it's pretty like it gets neon green. Like it does not look okay.
I wonder if this will be one of those things where you always read stuff about like in the early 1900s, like you could not drink milk. Like milk was crazy. And then like yellow journalism happened and like now you can drink milk and stuff because like it was really dirty the way they were treating animals and everything. And yeah, like in 100 years from now, it's like these MFers were dyeing the river green for just
for a day.
Yeah, just so they could all get super drunk and look at
it. Yeah, no, that's
cool.
Completely plausible.
They do say every year that like this is very much like in accordance with environmental codes.
Yeah, got to get that out of the way because it literally it looks radioactive.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year it'll be 60 degrees. Not
cool.
like a couple years ago it was like 18. So
yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a nice weekend.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna get out and about, go for some runs.
Run all the way down there. Plow some people.
That's the worst, dude. People who go on runs. And and it's like, oh, like I'm like a runner. I'm obviously built like a runner and I'm running pretty fast, but I'm running on like the main streets. Like it's like I'm on Michigan Avenue and it's like there's a million people out here. Like, why are you running on this street? Or like I'll see the people up and down Milwaukee and it's like, dude, it's 5 p.m. on Milwaukee on like a Thursday. Like you're gonna run into all the tourists. Like
unfortunately one of my roommates enjoys it. Doing the river walk. Oh. And like well, that's the worst because it's like you're actually like very shepherded.
Running the river walk?
Yeah, not like
this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but he like actively enjoys juking people. Like it's like
I would imagine that if you're doing it, it is like some kind of ego boost to be like, all these people are seeing me run, and like yeah. Anyways, well, good luck with your St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you.
Male brothel or whatever is going on. Let's get into the platform and take a look at what's happening here. If we can bring up, yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah.
A little bit of a dollar comeback here to start today to varying degrees. Immediate call-outs are the absolute punishment that Kiwi and Aussie are getting. Holy smokes. They tried to take this New Zealand dollar up to 57.40 yesterday, last night, and into this morning. They have taken it all the way back down. Right now trading under 57. Once again, if we zoom out a little bit, you will see that these aren't the lows. The lows for Kiwi are right around 56, 55.50, right in there. But Glenn unable to wake up the commodity currency sleeping giants, and we will bounce over to Aussie. You'll see a little bit of a similar thing. Yeah, trading back under 63, just unable to take. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, Chinese equities are up, like pretty considerably the last couple of weeks. The equity fear story is relatively siloed to the U.S. for the last, few days. It's bleeding over into other economies for sure, but it's not able to ride the Chinese story it's not able to ride the US dollar story. This is a pretty brutal one here, looking at these commodity currencies, not Canadian dollar, looking at Aussie and Kiwi, especially when you pull up this euro dollar market. That, yeah, this is the 15-minute chart, and we are giving back some ground, back down to 108.66.
Still holding in.
Still holding in above 108, but not able to hold above 109, although they've tried it multiple times this week. But you zoom out here, Glenn, and I mean, super different charts when you're looking at some of these more, I don't know what the right word is, developed, larger economies, whatever you want to say. Huge upside the last couple of weeks in the pound, in the euro, in the yen, and a lot of it having to do with those economies, those interest rate situations, and news stories in those places, but a lot of it having to do with just US dollar downside. Kiwi, Aussie,
just not
taking any of it.
Yeah, and this yen story, really interesting. Yesterday, talking about the complete comeback, we were up above 148.5. Now coming back and looking across all the pairs you were showing earlier. Interesting to see that now we're seeing some widespread yen strength across the U.S. dollar, euro, the pound as well. Not sure if there's any storylines there that I'm aware of. But yeah, just some natural back and forth early on this Thursday.
And we should say that it was a weird day yesterday for currency, for a lot of stuff, but for currencies especially, because you saw the inflation number come out yesterday. And it was soft. And this isn't like some BS prints. The market traded, the dollar traded lower immediately, as you would expect. I mean, I honestly thought with this softer inflation, they're going to take rates lower and they're going to take this dollar down to new lows, whether it's dollar yen or new highs for euro dollar or whatever. And you saw that instant reaction for a couple of minutes. And then immediately the dollar buying reemerges, and then they take it all down. And so it was a really interesting one, especially looking at dollar yen here. Because, you have number comes out soft. You get the reaction you would expect, dollar lower. And then they take this dollar, in this case, up to 149. And it's like, holy smokes, are they going to take this back to 150? And then all the way back off below 148.5, and then this morning trading under 148.
Yeah, we saw that flash across all currencies, and to me it was super interesting because we get four numbers in that inflation reading. Sometimes it's a mixed bag, and you're kind of just waiting to see what the reaction will be. This one unanimously soft, and so should have been a textbook response, and there was for I think just a minute. Yeah, if you're looking at the euro. Wasn't the case, but in this case, the euro, kind of the exact opposite of the yen, was able to appreciate once again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was an interesting one for sure. One that gave you two sides immediately, and so hopefully no one got really whipsawed in there. But if you, depending on what pair you were looking at, bought into that move or sold into it, immediately reverted a lot of that, but then in the next couple of hours reversed all of that movement again. Because it's not huge moves in here, and I wonder, we can go in and crunch the numbers maybe for next week. Volatility, I think, is still high in these markets, but this week volatility has definitely come in a little bit.
Right.
And so it's always hard to, as I zoom out, come off of a week where we saw multiple 100-point moves, okay, and then zoom back in and be like, okay, well, this week around CPI, we saw 40-point moves, 50-point moves here, going down to 108.70, 108.80, coming all the way back up to 109.20, and then coming all the way back off to 108.80. It's hard to reel in your expectations that quickly. But you're getting both sides of this euro dollar market. You're getting both sides of this dollar yen market, even at these extremes after such big moves. You're getting both sides of this dollar CAD market. We'll conclude there before going into your segment for today. But looking at this 15-minute chart, like, holy smokes, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen 144 5-6 times, all from different directions throughout this week. I mean, to start the week, they blew through 144, came all the way back and hit it again. And then, of course, you had the more tariffs and then not more tariffs that happened within a couple of hours on Tuesday. So up to 145, all the way back off to 144, up to 144.80 again, all the way back off to 144. And then in the last 24 hours, ducking its head below 144, and then this morning hitting it again. So two-sided trade. It's not as big as the moves that you've been seeing the last couple of weeks, but some healthy moves.
Still, yeah, and especially it's been so tough to gauge just how elastic these currencies are, because you see the speed of some of these 70 pip moves intraday, just continuing, no reprieve, and then all of a sudden just gets stuck in right there around 144, right under. So really tough to gauge just when these will let up, given hard not to be have that memory of last week in that euro and think, oh, well, this is what takes it all the way back down, but seeing a lot more stability this week.
Well, cool, man. Let's get into our segment for today. I think we're going to dive deep on the euro dollar as I pull that up. Take us away.
Euro dollar update. We've seen stability above 108 headed into the FOMC next week. So we're at an interesting junction in terms of central banks this month. Wide disconnect between European Central Bank very early, first week of the month, and we have the Fed next week coming in. And now we're at a crossroads of wide extremes between those two regions. And we've seen some completely unrelated, wild currency moves.
Not what you would expect.
So we're going to get into what is going on and how central banks might play back into this currency market.
It's almost like a classic case of like, it's the NBA Finals and the Lakers win the NBA Finals, but like LeBron only has 12 points.
Right.
And like after the fact, you would be like, oh, if I told you LeBron had 12 points, you would think the Lakers got smoked. and this is a classic case of that, of like, if we were in between the March ECB and FOMC meeting, and I told you the way that it was positioned, you would think this euro dollar is getting smoked.
You're right.
And it is not. Why don't you tell us what's been going on to take this market up to 109 in recent trading? It's come off a little bit under 109, but I mean, it's far away from its lows of 102 a couple months ago.
Right. Just zooming in on this week's price action. Last week, just to recap, a huge shot to the upside in euro dollar to get up to this 109 level on a lot of those foreign relation enhanced spending, European Union slotting a huge stimulus response to try and end all of the conflict in Ukraine and Russia. That really changed the pace of this euro dollar. Now looked like we could go right through 109. Trump and now euro dollar getting involved in a lot of this tariff back and forth as well. We saw just Canada and Mexico prior. Now Wednesday, Trump slaps a 25% tariff on metals across the entire world, Europe included, and not taking it lightly, formulating their own response on Wednesday morning during the European session, that they will respond in kind, dollar for dollar, with that. But this is really interesting as opposed to, as we're all familiarizing ourselves with how tariff talks are moving markets, if they do, when they do. This Trump tariff went into effect. This one was pretty well verbalized beforehand. so not seeing a ton of movement. And this Europe response is planned to start in April.
Okay.
So nothing immediate. We've seen Trump be a little more hasty in getting these out the door, which causes a much more of a stark reaction, as you kind of have to respect it if this is going to be the case tomorrow, like we saw with that dollar CAD, possible redouble of this 25% tariff. But this one not starting till April. And so we saw a bit of stability here in this euro as compared to, you read these headlines back and forth and you think, oh, up, down. But here, euro definitely holding firm, not giving in to all of these U.S. sanctions that are being placed. So it'll be really interesting to see just when the timing plays out, because Trump could have come right back and come out with some additional measures on them. We'll see how it shakes out. But
yeah, it's interesting to see here a couple things of note. One, you're not seeing the big back and forth swings like you're seeing in some currencies vis-a-vis CAD. And so what that tells you is that the tariff talks right now not so meaningful for this market in particular. And so it's something to monitor, but maybe not as relevant as some of the other news items around that Russian-Ukrainian war. It seems like there was probably so much of a discount built into this euro market around the risk of that war escalating at any time, which it has several times throughout the last couple of years. And so for them to take this market from around 102 to 104 up to this new range of 108 to 109, which is a huge move in a matter of a couple of weeks. It's hard to say whether the tariff talks have kind of stopped the rally in here, or this market just lost some of its energy after essentially a 600-point rally. But I do want to get to the interest rate piece here, because this is the piece that's particularly interesting to me. And when we get caught up in a lot of these news items, I'm a numbers guy.
Yep.
I don't like so much the news or like, oh, this could mean this million different things. And then a week later, it's like, oh, actually, the
one thing
that we were talking about, we aren't even talking about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's like tariffs. Last year, no one knew how tariffs affected exchange rates and everything else, but now it's the most important thing. So founding ourselves a little bit more in the numbers, what is still consistent is the fact that the ECB cut rates again. They're now down to 265, and the Fed is still at 4.5%. And this is the widest gap since 2022, when that gap was around 2%. So just a handful of basis points more than the current gap between the euro area and the US. And expectations from the ECB, while they might be a little bit higher than where they were a month ago, they're still down at 2%, and U.S. rate expectations, while they are moving lower than they were a month ago, are still, we could take a look at it here, in the mid threes to potentially still 4%. And so, you're still talking about a close to 2% gap in interest rates between these two regions, which very much affects the carry trade and the demand for US dollar versus euro. You've got a price point now that, 600, 700 points higher. Now, of course, if the US continues to unravel and these rate expectations move down to 3% or 2%, then this euro dollar could continue higher, of course, or if there is more upside in this euro based on the news that's coming out in the euro area, then sure. But I always have to call this out because it was just 2 or 3 weeks ago that this curve was focused around, 25 to 50 basis points higher than where it is now. And they're still only pricing in 50 to 100 basis points of cuts this year. And at the next meeting, they're not pricing in any significant chance of any cuts here in March. And so, looking forward, trading around 109, 108 area. Is 112 the recent high for the last couple of years of trading? More likely than 106. They're essentially equivalent distances, but it'll be really interesting to me if they get back to 112 amid all of this stuff. Maybe this is finally that US dollar, giving back the ground it's gained the last couple of years. Otherwise, the price action of the last couple of weeks here could be what we've seen several times the last couple of years, which is a blip on the radar of overall US dollar strength.
Exactly. And when you bring up the rate picture, now that we're allowing the possibility of more cuts up to 100 basis points, the uncertainty here comes a lot now with timing, because we're looking at the end of the year. When you have one or two cuts,
this is the end of the year.
For the whole year, it doesn't matter as much in the short term when these cuts come, because you're pricing them out further and further. Now, 4 cuts, when are they going to occur? If they occur sooner than usual, that's when you could see some sharper reaction in this euro dollar that could take it up to 112. Whereas if you just keep going without cutting, you can't, before the end of the year, just slap on a 100 basis point.
Well, yeah,
cut.
we'll see with the upcoming March FOMC. They're not expected to cut, but they probably will give some guidance on how much and when they might cut, which will surely move this euro dollar market. But that'll do it for today's episode. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Coming up next is Tom, Tony, and Vanetta. Stay tuned. Peace.
Looking for a better broker and a bonus? Sweet. We got you. Right now, you can get a bonus of up to $4,000 when you open and fund a tastytrade account. Plus, low rates, smart tech with the analysis tools you need, and award-winning support. So, get a broker who's actually got your back. And up to $4,000 at tastytrade. Make your move, genius. tastytrade.
The beauty of thinkorswim was that we were different. From the name to the front end technology was clearly what we wanted as traders. Second time around, I think we did a better job. Yes, we are known for our ability to support complex derivatives traders, but we also have the tools for somebody who's brand new who wants to come in on the first floor and work their way up to the top of the building. The amount of time I spend interacting with our customers via email or anything else is pretty much my entire life.
To be so powerful and so valuable, and then to be that approachable, just amazing.
Where else are you going to be able to email a CEO, get response back?
But you know what? Before he even knew who I was just some idiot trying to learn how to trade. And he still would email and help me learn and everything like that.
Some people say it's nuts, some people say it's insane. That's what I do. Backbone in a positive way to support consumer empowerment? And lastly, will the confusion around regulatory integrity be a meaningful hurdle or a showstopper? If corporate or individual fraudsters are allowed to run wild, then the importance of boundaries is meaningless. The bottom line is that free markets do not have default risk.